You are lying in bed, and your feet are screaming. 2 blisters on your heels, a callus the size of a coin. The blister cushions are peeling off. You bought new ones yesterday. You have spent $40 on foot products this month alone. Nothing sticks. Nothing works. You wake up in the same pain. Now, I want you to sit with this for one moment. You have been sold a lie about how skin softens. I have been a finance expert for 20 years, but I learned this the hard way on my own feet. My grandmother never bought special foot creams. She knew something we forgot. I am going to show you exactly what that was. By the time you finish this chapter, you will know the one application doctors fight hardest to keep quiet. It is sitting in your medicine cabinet right now. Probably. Here is what I do. I apply VapoRub to a blister before bed, once a week. The menthol penetrates the hardened skin and softens it overnight, faster than those cushions ever will. Petrolatum is the carrier, the base that seals moisture deep into dead skin. That sealing is the entire mechanism. Water in, softness, that is all. The cooling you feel from menthol is just a side effect. The real work is happening underneath. You cover your feet with cotton socks and sleep. By morning, the callus feels like butter. The blister has flattened. I replaced 20 products with one $3 jar. A jar that costs less than 2 blister cushions. Lunsford Richardson, a pharmacist in Selma, North Carolina, knew this in 1894. He called it his cure-all. He was not wrong. The product has survived 130 years because it works on a principle that never changes. Occlusion softens hardened skin. Nobody talks about this because there is no profit in simplicity. Expensive cushions, special creams, branded solutions, they all want you to come back every month. But a single jar lasts half a year on feet alone. And that is before we get to what else it does. Stay with me, because what I show you next will change how you think about congestion forever. Now that your feet are sealed, let me show you what I do the moment congestion hits. You feel the pressure building behind your eyes and nose, that familiar wall. Most people reach for a spray bottle. I reach for the jar. Here is what nobody tells you about how this works. Menthol is not a decongestant. Let me say that again, because it matters. It is a liar, a beautiful, elegant liar that your nerves believe instantly. Menthol activates cold receptors in your nasal lining, the same ones that fire when you taste peppermint. Your brain receives the signal. Cold air is moving. Passage is opening. No air is actually moving. The passage is exactly the same width, but your mind believes it so completely that the relief feels immediate. I have done this for 20 years, and the sensation never fools my body twice. Yet it works every single time I need it to work. Here is my method. Thin layer, not inside the nostril, under the nose. Rub it across the bridge, between the brows, down each cheekbone. The warmth of your face dissolves the petrolatum base. Menthol vapor rises into the nasal cavity without you forcing anything. You will feel the cooling spread within 30 seconds. The sensation holds steady for 4 hours, sometimes longer. And here is where it gets interesting. No rebound. Saline spray flushes debris but leaves your mucosa raw if you overuse it. VapoRub never hardens your tissue. because it is not pretending to be medicine. It is permission. It is a signal your brain has already agreed to receive. Apply it 2 or 3 times daily if congestion returns. I keep a small tin in my desk, my car, my coat pocket. The cost per use rounds to nothing. But now I want you to understand something deeper about this jar. The same camphor and menthol that cleared your sinuses, they do something else entirely when you massage them into living muscle. That is the application that changes everything. The one that made me realize this product was never just about comfort. Now that you understand how menthol opens the sinuses, we move to deeper work, the muscles themselves. I have spent 2 decades using the same jar before every workout, and here is what happens. You take that same VapoRub and massage it directly into the muscle or joint that will move hardest. The camphor in that paste is not just a smell, it is a rubefacient, a substance that dilates your blood vessels. Within 90 seconds of massaging, the area warms visibly. Your capillaries open and blood rushes to the tissue. This is not sensation playing tricks on you. Your skin temperature rises measurably. That increased blood flow loosens muscle viscosity the same way heat softens cold butter. Stretching becomes easier. Range of motion improves. Injury risk drops. Now, here is the mechanism that most people miss entirely. Camphor and menthol activate 2 competing thermoreceptor channels in your nerve endings, TRPV1 for heat, TRPM8 for cold. Your brain receives contradictory signals, warmth and cooling, simultaneously. This sensory confusion partially blocks pain signals before they reach your spinal cord, a phenomenon called gate control. The result is that soreness you felt yesterday drops by half within minutes. I massaged VapoRub into my left shoulder after a heavy rowing session in 2003, and the difference was immediate. My right shoulder, untreated, stayed locked for 3 days. My left loosened within hours. Most branded topical analgesics, Bengay, Icy Hot, use the same camphor and menthol at identical concentrations. A jar of Bengay costs $30 and treats maybe 5 applications. A $3 jar of VapoRub lasts me 3 months at 2 applications weekly. The pharmacology is identical. The price per dose is 10 times lower. And I have to be honest with you here. This is not the FDA's primary approved use. VapoRub is labeled as a cough suppressant, not a muscle analgesic. But the camphor concentration, 4.8%, falls squarely within the FDA's official topical analgesic monograph. The ingredient works. The mechanism is proven. The only mystery is why you are paying premium prices for other jars. But here is where the story deepens, because that one jar has 20 other applications hiding in plain sight. Applications that directly threaten entire product categories Big Pharma has spent decades building. Now, the one thing we have walked through together, the jar on your shelf, sits heavier than it did an hour ago. You started thinking it was a cough bomb. It isn't. Not really. So, let me show you the full cabinet swap, and then I will show you the part that genuinely frightens the people selling you pills. The thymol in this jar, one of the 5 active compounds, kills fungal spores on contact. Not in theory. In the lab, against the exact dermatophytes that cause athlete's foot, thymol stops them cold. I have used it between my toes, under the nails, for 18 years without buying a single antifungal cream. Rub it in once daily, seal with a clean sock, and within 6 weeks, the white discoloration vanishes. The wart removal came second. A pediatric study in 2011 showed thymol and eucalyptus oil softened HPV lesions enough to shed them. The mechanism is still debated among dermatologists, but I have watched warts disappear from my own hands using this method. Apply once nightly for 6 weeks. Most regress, some don't. The ones that don't need a real physician. Cracked heels, mosquito deterrent, cold sore softening, furniture scratches. The petrolatum base fills wood grain. But here is where it becomes interesting. Remember when I said menthol and camphor activate competing nerve channels, confusing pain signals? That same process, that gate control mechanism, applies to the thymol's mild antimicrobial action on minor skin infections. And that is the part the antibiotic industry does not want you to repeat at your next doctor's visit. Because a $3 jar with antifungal, antiviral, and mild antibacterial properties becomes a conversation. Your doctor hears it and knows you will ask fewer questions before accepting a prescription. Fewer prescriptions mean fewer pills. Fewer pills mean fewer sales. I am not saying VapoRub replaces real medicine. A bacterial infection needs a real doctor. But I am saying this jar does work on 5 separate pharmaceutical categories that exist because we forgot what was already in the bathroom. So, here is what I want you to do this week. Walk to your medicine cabinet. Turn the jar over. Look at the base. Read the 5 ingredients aloud. Then, ask yourself a single question. How many of those 5 things am I paying extra for separately? Write that number in the comments below. I read every single one. And when you see that number, you will never walk past that jar the same way again.